Okay, this video is about custom health bar. So you can see at the top here I have an indicator of the character. He has basically 4 lives here, green, 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 and then when he falls in the pit he's going to go back to his position again. So we're using the lives as when you fall in the pit you jump back to your position again, and it's going to destroy part of his health bar. And then at the end it's going to blink, and then the game's going to end. So watch what happens here. See, he lost a life. Then he can jump, hit the flag, and I've talked about this before with the checkpoint, but he hits the character, loses a life, and he goes back to the flag checkpoint location, or he can fall back in the pit. And he didn't lose his life there. I'll have to fix that. See how it ends. So let's go and fix this real quick. Alright, so I had to see, why is it not working on the left side? Probably because let me just do this real quick. I guess noticed this flaw. So let me see what happens when I do that real quick. Okay, so he loses a life, bam. Okay, so in this situation, it's kind of weird, but like with the object left, I talked about parenting before, and it's parented to the object right, so it should take all the attributes from object right for the object left. But for some reason, for this health bar, this particular custom health bar that I made up, you pretty much have to do the same. You have to pretty much mimic what you have to copy all the information from their object right to your object left to make sure that when he falls in the pit, he dies if he's going left or going right. So I have to go back to object right and pull out this as well. I need to copy this information here for object bad 1 and put it in with object left. And now if you used the standard health bar or the lives for the game maker, then you wouldn't have to do this if you parent it up with the right object. But in this situation, since I'm doing a custom health bar, apparently the parenting doesn't work for the health bar, so I have to, like I said, copy everything from the object right to the object left for everything to work correctly when he dies. And okay, so now let me show you how I did this, and I'm sure I'll be doing another video on this as well for how when you collect health, how he gains his health bar back, stuff like that. But I'm just going to talk about how I do this custom health bar. So in the object log box there is several images, and it blinks. Okay, but I got image 0, image 1, image 2, and image 3 here. And X, Y, the 0 position. Alright, so do an add event, create, then grab the coded sheet from the coded tab, and this is the code. So global.hitpoints equal 4 parentheses. So after after he gets hit 4 times, then it's going to jump to that blinking health bar that shows no lives, and then the game cuts off. So after 4 hits, he's dead. And you can change that depending on how many. See, 4 hits, so that means that I have 4 images. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 images here. Okay. There's 4 images here. So that means there has to be 4 hit points. And that's what that is, 4 hit points. Then image underscore index equals 0. Then image speed equals 0. So this is basically saying that when you first start the game, the image index is going to be at 0, which is going to be your first image, which is going to show the full life here, and it's going to be locked at that position. So it's going to be locked, showing the full green health bar, and it's not going to animate like it does here, where it blinks. That's why you want to have that image index at 0, so that way it does not animate. It stays locked at that first image, and the speed's going to be at 0 as well, because that's going to animate it, and you don't want that to happen. So make sure that both index and speed are at 0, and the hit points are at 4 because you have 4 images, and it's got to be set to global for this to work. I've also tested this out on the mobile device. It works fine on the mobile device. So that's the first step. The second step here is to get a step event from that event, coded sheet. This is just talking about the positioning of where the health bar is going to be at. I talked about it in previous videos. This keeps it fixed in that position, at 160 for the X view, and the Y view is at 27. So if I were to have the camera move with the player, the health bar would follow, and that's why I have this step event in here. If I didn't have this in here, the health bar would not follow the camera view or the player, so you don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that the health bar is following the character at all times when the camera view is moving the person from right to left on the screen, or down, of course, when you jump down or jump up. And you have a draw event as well. This will lock the health bar in the same position too, so when the camera view is drawn on the screen, it moves with the character. So that's what this is talking about, this code. You got to have the draw event in there as well as the step event, because I noticed if I didn't have a draw event in there for this and just had a step, it would I noticed that the health bar will like jerk a little bit when you move across the screen. That's why you have to have a draw event in there as well as a step event. So that talks about the health bar there. The next part is going to be the blinking portion of it. So this is when he's dead completely, and see how it blinks. So he has no more health left, and it's going to blink and the X and Y is at 0. It's going to blink for 20 seconds here, and I got the create event, and then it went to the main 2 tab and dragged over a coded set alarm. So it set that number to 20 milliseconds, and alarm 0 starts up, and then go to add event, get an alarm 0 because it has to match this alarm up here. Alarm 0, and then this is the same number of steps at 20 in alarm 0, and then it's going to in game. So yeah, these numbers have to match up. This 20 milliseconds and this 20 milliseconds. If that's not matched up, it's not gonna work correctly. So after 20 milliseconds of blinking, it's going to end game. Then you have a step event as well. This is the same thing. If you're moving on the screen, the camera view is following the player. The health bar will be following the player too. So this X and Y view needs to be in there for the step event as well as the draw event. Alright. And that talks about the blinking health bar after you have no more health left. Then in the object rights, so in the room you have this red box, which is when he falls in the pit and he jumps back to the position because he still has health probably, and then it's going to knock down a health bar as well. Or if he runs into the boss, then he's going to lose health bar, and then he's going to be jumping back to the same position. Alright, so when he hits this red box, it's going to jump back to self, back to where he was originally, and in the coded sheet here, in the control tab here, this is the information. This you don't need. You take that code out. That's not, this green information is not required. This is pretty much talking about this. You could have this applied, and it's basically saying after you get hit so many times, is this going to end game? It doesn't do the animation of the blinking of the health bar when you're all red. So it's after like the fourth hit. This should be 4. After the fourth hit, it would be game over. It would just probably show your bars being red real quick, and then it would end game. So I don't want that in there. I want it to blink a little bit before end game, so I take that out. Alright, so be sure that this is set to object live box, meaning that this is the object live box here, which is the health bar. You want to make sure it's associated with that when you fall in the pit, because if this is set to self, then your health bar is not going to be lowered. It's going to put your player back to the original position when you died, but it's not going to lower your health bar. So make sure that this is set to object live box. So all this information here is going to be applied to the health bar up at the top. Do not set it to other or self. Make sure it's set to object. So if parentheses image underscore index Pac-Man sign going to the right equals 4, close parentheses image underscore index plus plus semicolon. So this means is after all 4 images, because you only had 4 images, after the 4th image is at pretty much 0, your health bar is gone, it's going to basically it's going to do this. It's going to deactivate the object life box because you have no more health left. It's going to activate the object blink HP, which shows an animation of nothing. You have nothing left, and it's also going to deactivate your object right and deactivate your object left. So it's going to destroy your player completely. You're not going to see your player at all, and you're only going to see the blinking health bar that you're dead for 20 milliseconds, and then the game's over. So that's what's happening here. So after the 4th image that means you have no more health, it's going to deactivate the object live box because you have no more health, and it's going to activate the blinking health bar, which means that you have no more health left. You have an X on your eye, and you're pretty much dead, and it's going to deactivate your right and deactivate your left. Depending on which direction you're going, it's going to deactivate those images of your character. You could potentially have an instant activate object, and you could have it set to like a player that looks like he's dead or whatever. I may do that on the next video when I talk about how to gain health. But that's what happens here. So, and that code has to be in with the object restart, which is that red square. And this I have to redo this too. This shouldn't be here. Copy this, put it in, because this is talking about when you hit that flag, the red square is going to turn to green square, which I talked about in the previous video. So I got to make sure that that's the same information applied to that. Copy, and I got to make sure that the left is also got the same thing for the green flag. So this is what happens is when you touch that flag, which I talked about in the previous video, the checkpoint, it changes the red square to a green square, and then it puts them in that spot where you touch the flag. So when you fall in that pit, the red turns to green, and it's going to jump the character back to the flag checkpoint. So you got to make sure that that code is also applied to that position as well. Like I said, I don't know, since he's parented to the object right, all the attributes should take over. You shouldn't have to duplicate everything. But since, I don't know, it might be Game Maker's flaw or something, but since you're doing a custom health bar, you have to copy all this information from the object right and put it in your object left, even though it says it's parented. I would still keep it parented because if you decide to make the camera view follow the right, you want to make sure that object left is going to go to the left and the camera view is going to follow. So this only applies to basically the health bar, and everything else should work fine. But in this situation with getting hit by the boss or the pit, you have to duplicate everything over to the object left because the parenting thing doesn't work for some reason. Alright, so let me just save this real quick and I will continue. So, then I will also, in the next video, talk about how to gain health and maybe also show the character showing a death image or something before he dies completely. Alright, so that, and, okay, so then what happens here, up at the top, you have to have your health bar in there for the, you have full health bar. Also, you have to have also the one that you're dead health bar in there as well. And like I said, when it's deactivate, once you're dead, this health bar will be deactivated, this will be activated. So at the beginning, this health bar that's blinking is deactivated. So in the create event, I put a statement saying instance deactivate object blink HP. So this means on the create event, go to coded sheet, put that in there. So I do not want this image. What I'm trying to say here is I don't want this object blink health P to be active when I first start the game because I'm not dead yet. I haven't fallen or I haven't got hit by the boss. So I want to deactivate the HP blink. But like I said, it needs to be in the room. But I don't want it to be active until I die, and then I want it to activate. So you do have to have that image in the room but make sure you deactivate it at the beginning because you have full health right now. Because like I said, you have to have it in the room, because if you say deactivate this image right here and it's not in the room, then it's not going to work correctly. So make sure that this image also has to be in the room, but just make sure it's deactivated when you first start, because like I said, you're not dead, you haven't got hit yet, so that's why it's deactivated. So yeah, I've already talked about after 20 milliseconds it's going to end the game for the blinking HP. So I think I've pretty much talked about everything here. I will put the video, I'll put this GameMaker GMX file online so you can download it and test it out yourself. And I will do more videos later on. I'm planning on doing another video on something about placeholder, like dealing with selecting your character. You know, you have like 4 or 5 characters, and you select the right one, and it jumps to the next room with that player in it using placeholders. I know I talked about player select before, but this will probably be more better way of doing it if I can figure out how to do it. And I will be also doing password, how to deactivate, or how to put in a password to open a door, and maybe like rotating blade or something. I want to do moving platforms, but I'm not able to find something online that I like that works in this video where, you know, moving platforms go up and down and then side to side, and even do the rotation thing. I don't know, maybe in next videos or something, but stay tuned. Thanks for watching.